All right, well, Wednesdays here on the program, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group, Common Ground.
Common Ground is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers who want to know more about how their food is grown. So joining us today is Ruth Ready from the Scribner area. Always good to see you.
You bet. Great to be here.
Yeah, did you get some snow yesterday?
We didn't get a whole lot, a little dusting, but it was cold and that wind was ferocious.
I know, yeah.
I looked at the wind chill last night about 8 o'clock. It was 7 degrees, and I thought, this is silly. Why are we here?
I know. Why are we here? Well, we are here today to talk about food production, right? Mm-hmm. And why farmers grow the crops they grow.
Right. A lot of times we hear that farmers are growing the wrong things, or why don't they grow something that's more locally consumable? We're very corn, soybean, sorghum, alfalfa dependent, at least this part of the state. Western Nebraska, they grow a lot of dry edible beans and sugar beets. And a lot of that depends on your soil types, the climate, the inputs that are available to you, the basic infrastructure for marketing those goods also. And so it's not just as easy as going out there and saying, oh, I'm going to change what I plant this year and plant lettuce or plant tomatoes. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of decision making and is not terribly efficient sometimes to make those wholesale changes like that.
So basically what you're saying is that, you may want to try something new, but you may not be able to get that to market once it's time for harvest, right?
Right. A few years ago, we grew some wheat, which worked well, and there has been more increase in wheat in the eastern half of Nebraska. I know one of the extension educators is working with that. But your marketing is somewhat limited. You have only certain places where you can take that wheat to be marketed. In Western Nebraska, they have more accessibility to that because it's been part of their agricultural scheme for much longer.
Mm-hmm. All right, and so Ruth, as the world population continues to grow, I'm sure farmers are looking for ways to diversify, and maybe you're trying out crops that may not have been suitable before, right?
Right, and some crops have been bred to be more suitable. For instance, we see a lot more corn grown, especially around in the Lincoln area, than we did just 35 years ago. I remember coming to college, and it was my first real introduction to grain sorghum because the surrounding area around Lincoln was heavily into grain sorghum production. Mm-hmm. And a lot of different factors influenced why they switched, but some of it was plant breeding and the technology that we can use now to improve the range of where those crops can be grown.
And you tried barley, was it last year?
Yes, we did. We did. We put in a couple acres of barley. It worked well, grew well. We had a little difficulty finding some of the inputs that we wanted then to use with that barley. And you can do it. It's just, it takes a great deal more time to get it all organized and education for those supplying the inputs. So sometimes we as farmers have to educate our suppliers, here's what we need. And they kind of need to shift how they look at the cropping practices too.
Okay. Ruth, thank you. And you're sticking around with a recipe.
Yes.
Using Easter leftovers.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
All right.
Always looking forward. Thank you.